Hey everybody, how is it going today? Well, I have had a ton of questions on TSNP Enterprises, so in this video I'm going to go over their current chart, I'm going to go over their daily chart and their intraday chart and give you my thoughts on where the stock could be heading. Plus, I'm going to go over the holdings that we are currently in right now. Now, if you are new to the channel, I like to find short-term and long-term trading and investing opportunities in typically lower-priced stocks. I like to find undervalued stocks with high growth potential and talk about all other things finance-related as well. If that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any future trading or investing ideas. But please remember, I am not a financial advisor, so please do all of your own research before investing in any of these stocks. All right, everybody, here is the current daily chart of TSNP Enterprises, ticker symbol TSNP. If we look at Thursday's bar, we can see that it had a big, nasty red bar on above average volume, so that was kind of concerning. But if we look at Friday's price action, I think this is actually very encouraging because it held this 21-period exponential moving average, even though when it did bounce up, it did find resistance at the 8-period exponential moving average. So right now, it is pretty much in no man's land. So this is very difficult to determine the trend direction when you get stuck in between those moving averages. If you're not familiar with my channel, these are my two favorite moving averages, the 8-period exponential moving average or the white line. Will keep you in those fast uptrends. Normally when you get a pullback at the beginning of an uptrend, you get a pullback into that 8-period exponential moving average. You can very often get another leg up, but once the uptrend starts to get mature, it has a harder time holding that moving average, and that's what happened last Thursday. But it did hold the 21-day exponential moving average, so that is a good sign. This 21-day exponential moving average will keep you in those medium-term uptrends. So when it holds this purple line, it is very common for it to get back above that white line in a few days and start another leg up. So this is going to be very important to watch. Like I said, it is pretty difficult to determine the trend direction when it's stuck in this area. I like to go intraday to try to get some more information. And let's go to the 15-minute chart. If I back it out a little bit in this 15-minute chart, we can see that it has actually been under distribution, which is not a good sign if you are long this stock. You can see on all these downdrafts, it was accompanied by big red volume spikes. So that is not a good sign. If we go back to this beginning part of this trend, when it was started to move up, what was it accompanied by? It was accompanied by big green bars, big green volume spikes. And what did we get? After that, we got another leg up. So if I had to guess about the market direction with this information, I would say we probably got a little bit more downside coming. My gut tells me that this is starting to turn around, and mainly because of this false break right here. Most changes in trend direction come from a false break. It broke this recent low, but then it immediately got back above it. And if we draw this down channel, we can see that this channel line is pretty close to being broken. I think that next week we're probably going to be able to get into the 25-cent range, hopefully on Monday or Tuesday, and that will be enough to break out of this down channel and probably get another leg up. Monday and Tuesday are going to be super important. If it can't get above this downtrend channel on Monday or Tuesday, that is not good news, technically speaking, for this stock. I expected there to be less selling on this pullback, but it looks like selling volume has certainly outweighed the buying volume. So Monday and Tuesday are going to be critical. I personally think that it's going to bust higher, bust into the over 25 cents, but that is just my opinion. Let me get this stuff out of here and go back to the daily chart real quick. If we get back to the daily chart, I think it still looks bullish because I think if it holds this moving average and can move higher, we're going to be in good shape with TSNP Enterprises. but Monday and Tuesday are going to be super critical. And I will do a recap of the Monday and Tuesday price action. I'll be watching this one closely because I'm very interested to see how this one turns out. But that is definitely one that I'm going to be keeping a close eye on. But those are my current thoughts. If you have any different thoughts on this stock, please leave it down there in the comment section. You know, I've been getting a ton of messages saying this is just a P&D, a pump and dump play, and I have not argued that at all. I mean, I think if this is a P&D play, it's very elaborate because they have come out with a lot of intriguing news articles. You know, it still could be, but I have not argued that fact even from the beginning. What my argument has been is this current chart pattern, it does not look like it's topping out yet. Now, that is just my opinion, but it is not exhibiting characteristics of a climax top, and it looks like it could be on it could be ready for another move up any time. And since there is so much interest in this stock, that's another element that makes me think the run is not over. But, you know, it could be. You know, I don't know the future, and this could be a P&D play. I'm not saying that it's not, or it could be a superb investment. I'm not saying that it's not that either. But what I am saying from a technical perspective, I think odds favor that this run is not over. So, in my opinion, I think there's still room to run on the upside for Tesoro Enterprises. But like I said before, if you have any differences of opinion, please leave them down there in the comments. I want to hear like everybody's opinion that I can, because that will help me make some of my decisions as well, because I like to know what everybody else is thinking. But those are my current thoughts on Tesoro Enterprises. Okay, the first one of our positions I want to talk about is Energy Fuels Incorporated, ticker symbol UUUU. If I zoom in a little bit here, we can see last Wednesday it had a big, nasty-looking red candle, but it just barely managed to hold the 8-period exponential moving average, and then it found support at that average and made it into new high ground the following day. On Friday, it had that bullish hammer, so I would expect more upwards price action next week. Hopefully, by the middle of the week, it should make it into the mid-threes, and that's where I'd like to sell off the other half of my position. If I back out just a little bit here, it looks like we are going to start having resistance right around this area, and that is going to take us into the mid-threes. I think this uptrend right here is a little overextended, so if it does make it into the mid-threes, that's where I'm probably going to look to take the rest of my position off and go on to the next opportunity, because the probabilities of this continuing to rise past there, you know, as it goes farther and farther, the probabilities of it staying in that uptrend get less and less. So that is the area where I would like to ring the register if I can. But let's go on to RAVE next. Now, RAVE, if we zoom in a little bit here, it is having trouble getting going for some reason. There is a lot of supply in the $1.20 range for whatever reason. Let me go to the 15-minute chart. But if we go into this 15-minute chart, we can see every single time it started to get going, it was met with selling. Now, if we look at these last two recent spikes, it looks like it is starting to grind through the rest of that supply. So if it can get another surge up, I think it should be able to bust past this $1.25 area and start heading higher. But for whatever reason, hasn't been able to bust through. I mean, by looking at the volume down here, this is telling me that this has been under accumulation. It could just be the person or persons that are accumulating this stock. They're only buying just a little bit and then pulling their orders, and it's just falling. It's just drifting right back down to earth. But I think this one, let me go back. Let me get this stuff out of here and go back to the daily chart. I think this week or next week, it should have enough momentum to shoot into the upper ones. So this one, I am very interested in seeing how this is going. All the moving averages are starting to move in the right direction. It's above the 200-day simple moving average. So all the lights in my eyes, all the lights are green. So this one should be heading higher in the next week or two, I would think. But I mean, it has found a little bit of selling, but I think it's going to grind through that and shoot higher probably this week or next. But let's get on to the next one, which is IGC. Now, if we get into IGC, this one has been a little bit more of a head scratcher. I thought once it got going a couple of weeks ago, we were really going to start cooking on this one, but for whatever reason, the buying has subsided and it is starting to fade back down to right around where I bought it at. Let me go to the 15-minute chart and back up. And let me go to the hourly chart. Let's go to the hourly chart. We can see that this is the support area right down here at around $1.50 or so. And if I zoom in, it is right there. And for whatever reason, it's not getting a big bounce off of it. I hate to close this position when it's still above support, so I'm not going to do it. But if it does break below probably 155 and stay below it, I'm probably just going to cut my losses and move on to the next one. I'm in at this one at $1.48, $1.48 or $1.49, I believe. So, you know, it's probably going to end up being a wash if it breaks down below that. But I'm going to hold on to this one for another couple of days at least, especially if it can hold that support area, because I do think if this one gets going again, this thing could really get screaming higher, and I'd hate to get you know, bored of it and just sell out of it right before the thing takes off. So the fact that it's still above this support area is a bullish sign, but it is starting to test my patience, if you can't tell in the tone of my voice. But I'm going to hold on to IGC for a little bit longer, so still in a holding pattern on this one. Let's go to the next one, which is AUMN. Let me go back to the daily chart. We can see this one is also having trouble getting going. Hopefully it's just because the market has been pulling back, because I think the market could be ready to start moving up again, and hopefully that will pull all of these stocks up as well. We can see that it is resting right on the 8-period exponential moving average, so from a technical perspective there is no reason to get alarmed just yet, but of course I'd like to see a little bit more follow through to the upside. But as far as Golden Minerals Company is concerned, this one is also in a holding pattern. But let's go to the stock that we're holding that is not a penny stock, which is RPTX. And RPTX is sitting just above that 8-period exponential moving average, so technically there's no reason to get worried about this one. And when you think about how much the market has pulled back and RPTX is still hanging above that moving average, that is a very bullish sign. You can see there's been a lot of swings in these last 4 days, up and down in a pretty wide range. So there is a lot of churning going on at this level. Hopefully the market is up this next week, and that will shoot this one above $40. I'd like to take part of my position off in the low 40s if I can. And I think if the market is up next week, I think this one's going to be over 40, so I am sitting tight on RPTX. But let's take a look at the market averages real quick before I get out of here. Let's go to the Qs first. Now, if we go to the Qs, we can see the Qs are hanging out in no man's land as well. It did have a move above the 21-period exponential moving average. It held it solid the last 2 days in a row, and if it can blast above that 8-period exponential moving average, I think we got a good shot of the NASDAQ heading into higher grounds next week. So with as nasty as the sell-off was in the NASDAQ, it's actually showing very bullish signs that it's going to be able to absorb this sell-off rather quickly and head to higher ground. Now, if it gaps down below this 21-period exponential moving average on Monday or even Tuesday, I think we got some pretty smooth sailing all the way down to the 50-period simple moving average, which is down to at 290. So if it breaks below this average, I mean, it could be another rocky week in the market. But let's take a look at the diamonds, which is the Dow ETF. And we can see that the Dow ETF is looking a lot more bullish than the Qs, because it is already above the 8-period exponential moving average. We're going to have to wait to see where it opens on Monday, if it can hold that or not. But the Dow is definitely looking a little bit more bullish than the Qs. Let's go over to the Spider, which is the S&P 500. And the S&P 500, the Spider is pretty much in no man's land as well. It did not make it all the way down to the 21-day. but it did have a reversal on Friday, and it is just below the 8-period exponential moving average. So I think if we can get a move up on Monday, that is very bullish for all three of these averages. And if that happens, we got a great shot of the market hitting a new high this next week and continuing to move higher. So I think as far as the overall market goes, I think if we can have an up day, a decent size up day on Monday or Tuesday, that is going to be super, super bullish for the averages, and we should be cooking into higher grounds if that happens. So that's a very good sign for the overall markets. All right, everybody, that is all I have. I'm going to end the video right there. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down there in the comment section. I will get back to you as soon as I can. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end. And until next time, take care, everybody.